Welcome to my very first chess review of a game I had during stream. I want to do this right now because it's still fresh in my head. We just ended our stream, and shout out to the live viewers because I've only been doing this for a few days now, but we had some really nice people show up. I have a rule, okay? I let you guys know when the last game is. So I say, here's the last game. However, can't end on a loss. Raise your hand if you have that same rule with the fellas, right? You're playing League of Legends, you can't end on a loss. You're playing Rocket League, can't end on a loss. And then you have that one teammate who's pretty bad. He's like, no, we have a 2-loss rule. So, well, let me tell you, we were able to end the stream because this game, I don't even know how to describe it. Here's the hook. We get down by like 13 points at one point. Might have been more. And we might have found a way to still win. I am playing with the black pieces, and I've been really trying to learn this Caro Kann. I am not that good at it, but Gotham Chess seems to really like it. I'm not that good at it still, despite watching it. I know the main lines bring your bishop out, then block it. Now your bishop on the outside of your light pawns, and then if he ever brings his bishop out over here, you just want to snag, and that's about all I know. I just force what I've seen in the past, this typical position, and then I just have ideas of just developing my pieces kind of in natural squares. I mean, this bishop can go anywhere, so we're dealing castle short. I often get in some crummy situations. Anyways, the game continues. We do some more developing moves. I bring my bishop out, and then he pushes his pawn. I obviously take it back. He brings out his knight, and then here, I believe, I castle. Up until this point, okay, we kind of got through the opening, and I'm slightly better. However, this game quickly spirals out of control. Apparently, this was a mistake, and I do not capitalize on it. I push my pawn to d4. Honestly, the reason why I did that, I thought it made sense. At this point, obviously, something's going to be taken or not, or one of us is going to push. I figured if I took, he just had plenty of ways to capture back. He can capture back with 2 pawns, a knight. He has so many things attacking this. I just didn't really like that. Plus, it opens up his bishop. I just didn't really like that, right? I just had a feeling. So I opted to push. I figured this kind of locks up his bishop. I got this bishop blocking my pawn. I can eventually solidify it more with that pawn. Yeah, I can move, but if I can like move my knights around and kind of defend again, will be great. I figured locking this up, I feel like this simple pawn move makes everything kind of feels tight and squishy over here, right? Anyways, I go with it. Pawn h4, I go pawn h6. He goes pawn g4. I bring my queen out to a5. The idea I had here at this point in the game was I wanted to kind of bring my bishop in, kind of force a trade, right? Because then I'm getting him kind of locked up, and then eventually I try to bring, my knights, maybe sack a knight and do some pawn storming stuff. And then I have my rooks, get my rook over, and figure out an attack from there. He finds the only great move. I then go with this idea. Turns out it's a mistake. You know why? Because he has knight c4. Here, I just took a moment to pause. At this point, I'm speaking with my chat. They know I've been on this the longest losing streak all night. I have not really been following through with wins. I get in slightly better positions, and then I lose. Or I just get in worse positions. I just lose the entire time. I'm thinking here, great. Well, he wins. I can save my queen, and then he takes my bishop. Let me say I go here. Then I have to move my queen again, okay? Let's say I probably move it here, and then he did whatever. He is up a full piece. I didn't really like that. Do you know what I did? I said, take my queen. I don't want it. I take his bishop. He obviously takes my queen, and the idea I had is bishop c3. Great, bishop's on c3. Guess what? That's not going anywhere. These things are not going anywhere, and now I'm cutting that diagonal. Maybe eventually I can get some counterplay, but that was my idea. I was like, you know what, buddy? Take my queen. So he did. He brings his knight back, because obviously I was threatening to take it. He brings it back. Good move. I push my pawn, because now my idea is I want to finally get that pawn storm, which the computer suggested I should do probably like 5-10 moves ago. Late is better than never, right? So he brings his knight back. I push my pawn. Again, I'm opening up these ranks so I can bring my rooks over. Figure something out. He pushes his pawn. I push my pawn. He pushes his pawn. This is probably the only piece I care to save, so I do retreat it. And I retreat it the wrong way. However, I did retreat it this way because we're not playing against computers. We're playing against people. I'm rerouting it a different way. White is so much better than I am right now. I'm not going to lie. I did not see that. So now it's evident why I go here, because then I get to keep my rook. But we're still in a pretty bad position. Yeah, what we got here? I'd have to retreat, and it is just not looking good. So I reroute thinking I'm super smart. I hang my rook, but that's okay. Because now I'm going to be getting my pieces involved somehow, and I still have one other rook. which will be important later. He brings back the bishop. I push my pawn. He pushes his pawn. I don't care. You can take my silly pawn. I have better things to do. I'm thinking about some attacks here. I push my pawn, which in the game, there's no way for me to really know this is the best move, but at this point, I am down by 11 points of material. I am just doing anything I can to find counterplay. He takes, I take back. Wanted to take this way, but I figured this might get me in some sorts of trouble because probably wouldn't find this king move, but I know this would be bad because then he's going to just be taking off all the pressure and I need that stuff, right? So I do opt to take his pawn. He takes, I take, he pushes his pawn. Again, I do not care. I don't have time to be messing around with this stuff. I need a coordinated attack on the king side. I have so many pieces over here. Once I move these knights or these pawns, I got some ideas. We're going to come back to this move because once he takes and I push this pawn to b4, this is when I realized, wait a second, I have a mating idea. If I bring my knight here to b5 and then I bring it to a3, guess what? His king is trapped. He can't go there. It's a smothered mate in a sense. Not really a smothered mate. At this point, when I push this pawn, I instantly regret it. You know why? Because I should have been able to push this pawn and move sooner. When could I move this pawn and move sooner? Well, do you remember this move I just made? This rook move? That was an inaccuracy. It's because the best move in that position, which we in the chat and I discovered after the fact, was to push this pawn now. Because then it gets me ready to do this move one turn earlier. And it might have made the difference. But I went with this. He takes. I do not take his pawn because I have this pawn push. I am eyeing this mate up. He takes. I move. I continue my plan. Knight b5. Setting up. Checkmate with knight a3. What can he do here, fellas? What can he do? Can't go here. That's mate in one. The only thing I really calculated for was that he would go here. And he does. Everyone knows who plays chess. When you move your pawns 2 squares forward right beside an opponent's pawn, the first thing you're looking at is en passant. But is that the best move? What if I just did this? He just walks out. Is there a rook sack? Clearly not. I just lose my rook and now I'm in a worse position. Yeah, I got my knight defending that. Even if I promote, he's taking and this is bad for me again. I don't think I wasted that much time during this move. I saw that he gave me this opportunity. 5 seconds later, I en passant. He moves his king up. And at this point, I really don't have anything going for me, fellas. I really don't. Him moving that king there, that was the best move in my opinion, even though it says it's just a good move. Because if he didn't do that, let's just say he does a nothing move, which he would never do. I'm thinking about pushing my pawn forward and that's mate. Unfortunately, our opponent found one of the good moves, right? I promote anyways. I got nothing going on. I need to figure something out. I sack my passed pawn because there was literally nothing else I could really do to give me enough time to get there. I don't really have any knight reroutes or anything because this pawn's doing some nice work. I sack my passed pawn and then once again, like we did earlier with this bishop and this pawn earlier that were defending each other, I just moved it over. Now they're defending each other right here. Now my idea is to bring my knight to c3. This would be another checkmate. His king cannot take the pawn because it's defended multiple ways and he can't go there because of the bishop. Our opponent plays bishop h7. I need to be able to not get checked continuously because eventually I need to do knight c3. Not sure what the best move was. Figured I'm losing by so much material. Might as well take a little something back. Obviously, he has queen h5 coming in. I go down, and I feel like all hope is lost. He just has to bring his queen down to h5. He's going to kick me out and take my rook, and I'm going to be down so much material, and it feels bad. So that's what he does. I move out. And then what does he do? He takes the rook on a8, hanging mate in one because he forgot of our awesome idea and our beautiful checkmate, knight c3. Fellas, as you can see, I am down by 15 points and we held on. Most importantly, we did not end our stream on a loss. This is still such a crazy game. I'm just so happy. The key point of this game where we got forked our bishop and our queen, we chose our bishop. Who here would choose their bishop? During the game, I did not know that this was the best move. I just thought that battering the bishop and the pawn together would give me some counterplay in the future, hopefully. I was playing hope chess. This key moment in the game where I spent 50 seconds trying to figure out what to do, and my instinct said, take my queen. I'll figure the rest out later. And then our opponent gets greedy, taking, blundering the game. We get that beautiful checkmate. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to come hang out with us, I usually try to stream in the evenings now because why not? Appreciate you and see you in the next one.